Do you need a running back to help you out going into week 11 of the fantasy football season? Got you covered. Here are my top 5 waiver wire picks for week 11, counting down with number 5 first. All right, so number 5 is going to be a name that you hadn't heard about in a minute, but Devontae Booker is now with the Raiders. That's right, going against his former team, the Denver Broncos, and he gashed them for 2 late scores and 81 yards on the ground. Now, I know what you're thinking. That was garbage time, right? It was all in the fourth quarter, and it was in a game that was just a blowout, right, against a kind of a reeling Denver team, to be honest. Well, that is sort of true, but a couple of weeks ago, Booker kind of caught our eye because he ran for 62 yards. He's been really efficient with the touches, the few touches he's gotten. But here's the thing. Okay, so I'm not saying you want to pick him up because you want to start him this week, because it doesn't matter that they're going against the Chiefs or whatever's happening. You, at this point of the season, want to have high-end handcuffs on your bench if possible. So if you are a Josh Jacobs owner, you might want to consider having Booker as the backup. We know that he's used a lot in pass catching situations, so he doesn't really have a lot of standalone value. But again, at this point going forward, you want to stash those insurance policies, and Booker is looking like actually a really solid choice. All right, so let's go on to number 4 as far as running backs. Going to go with another guy who, well, we can't really call him an insurance policy because he's, I guess, now part of a committee, and that's Cam Akers of the Rams. It's going to take me a minute just to get over the fact that Akers has just not gotten a lot of touches this year. It's so sad. I really had him as a breakout player, had him pegged, and Sean McVay just had other thoughts. But you know what? It was nice to see him get a season high in touches, right? 10 carries, and that actually led the team. That's still not a lot, right? He didn't get a lot of opportunities, but there's hope. I'm holding out hope that maybe that trend keeps going, and then maybe he's just been kind of saving Akers. Maybe he didn't want to rush him back from the rib injury. Who knows what he's thinking, all right? But I like to see the fact that he is now maybe starting to take over that backfield. And Akers, you've seen what he can do when he has the ball in his hands on that offense, which actually likes to run the ball quite a bit. There's a lot of potential there. So again, he's not plug and play. You can't start him right away, especially against Tampa Bay. It's a tough matchup going into week 11, but that's the kind of potential you want on your bench, because an injury to Darrell Henderson or to Malcolm Brown, this could all of a sudden be a league winner down the stretch. Could be. All right, my number 3 running back for this week in waiver wire is going to be Nyheim Hines. Now, this is also part of a 3-man committee, I know, but you look what's happening. Who's the most valuable fantasy running back in that backfield? I guarantee you it's not Jonathan Taylor. We've been through that before, all right? Taylor's just getting worse and worse. He's just trending. I don't know what's going on with him. Not going to get into that here, but Taylor is just not playable, all right? Jordan Wilkins had a nice 1 week where he was really good. And ever since then, not much. He is simply a change of pace guy. He's never going to be a lead back. Nyheim Hines is not either, but he is the pass catching back. That is a fact. He is the guy who's going to get in when there's negative game script. But even when there was positive game script, they were beating Tennessee in the second half, and he was still doing work. And just honestly, he looked like the best runner on that team. All right. So let's save that debate for another time. But Nyheim Hines has PPR value each and every week. Some weeks he'll go off. Some weeks, he'll be more quiet. But I think it's safe to say he does have value in certain matchups. And he's a guy that you could just plug in and play if you need somebody, to fill a hole. And number 2, I'm going to go with a name that you probably hadn't heard of until a couple of weeks ago. That's Salvon Ahmed, and he's now the starting running back for the Dolphins. And Myles Gaskin's on IR. Jordan Howard just got released. Not that is too surprising, but this is it. It's his backfield, and it doesn't coincide with the fact that, Ahmed had 21 carries, 85 yards. It looked like he was really confident, took over that backfield. And so I think that made Howard pretty much expendable. It's going to be his backfield from here on out. Only 5 other carries went to other running backs in week 10. So Ahmed is the guy to own. He's now starting running back in the NFL. How many starting running backs are just freely available on the waiver wire? And he looked pretty good. Again, not the biggest guy, not sure how much work he'll do in the red zone because the Dolphins do like to pass the ball to their tight ends, especially. But still, the upside at running back there's not a lot out there that's going to beat that. So he's definitely one of the hottest pickups. But number 1 is going to be Kalen Ballage. I know I mentioned him last week. We weren't sure what his status was going to be. Well, later in the week, Justin Jackson was placed on IR. And so now it was Ballage who's going to be the RB1 there. Joshua Kelly let's just make sure he's dropped everywhere. He has zero value at this point. And you know what? The Chargers seem to agree because Ballage had a 75% opportunity share, one of the highest out of all running backs in Week 10, believe it or not. And so Ballage is a starting running back. He plays for a pretty good offense. He's going to get a lot of touches going forward, a lot more so than some other guys who were starters in fantasy all year long. So pick up Ballage, do it now. He's going to make you very happy, especially you can just put him in there, set it or forget it. At least until Austin Eckler returns, whenever that is. All right, that does it for running backs for Week 11. If you need help at other positions, check out this channel. Hit that subscribe button because we got you covered from waiver wire to start sit advice and, of course, Endgame Live each and every Sunday. All right, good luck in Week 11. Thanks for watching.